The Universal Laws of Patterns and Perfection, a wisdom teaching from the Intergalactic Alliance of Light Beings. Mathematics is the science of patterns, and nature takes full advantage of just about every pattern there is. Ian Stewart. Simplicity is the law of nature for people as well as flowers. Henry David Thoreau. Greetings, friends. Today we will look at the law of patterns and the law of perfection, both sent to help us bridge the gap between our highest ambitions and soul-fueled desires and the result of our pragmatic application of wish fulfillment or goal attainment. To start, tell me, when you look around your world, what do you see? Are you someone who's programmed to look for what's working well, or programmed to look for issues and unforeseen problems? We ask because that's a pattern, and we humans use patterns to learn about how everything in our world works, starting with the accepted patterns for eating and sleeping before working our way up to successfully walking and speaking. We humans have been gifted with the power of spontaneous action, with many of us receiving our expectations of perfection and performance from well-meaning family, friends, teachers, neighbors, and clergy. It is our ability to notice patterns and learn from them that gives us the power to change the direction of our lives with just a thought. And what we refer to as a train of thought is actually a pattern of thinking. And it is in these patterns that we can either lock ourselves into self-judgment and limitations or empower ourselves into inspired actions. Some patterns, like when we eat or sleep, ensure our maximum survival potential, while other harmful patterns, be it smoking, drinking, or feeling like a victim, can diminish our enjoyment, if not tempered by healthy boundaries and conscious choice. This includes the pattern of expecting perfection in yourself and others, a pattern that inevitably leads to disillusionment and frustration, as the expectation of perfection is really vibrational misalignment, as this expectation is really self-judgment in disguise as highest intent. Here's a secret your spirit knows: perfection is temporary. Only change is constant. Consider this truth. From a transcendental perspective, everyone and everything is unconditionally perfect because all things are a reflection of source energy, and only source is perfect. Take a look again, and you will see how nature perfectly reflects and utilizes the law of patterns in all things, from plants and rocks to animals and people. The cycles and synergies of life are always reflecting source energy in every aspect of our reality. When we view ourselves and our world from this perspective, it's easy to see the divine unfoldment at play in every experience, expectation, and reoccurring pattern at play. Humans naturally use patterns to learn. We are able to achieve excellence in performance with practice, desire, and discipline over time. Growth happens slowly. Nature is programmed this way. We grow according to the conditions we are given and are desired to grow, not according to our desire to be perfect while growing. Did you catch that, dear heart? As we have stated many times, perfection is not required for your spiritual growth, but progress is. You were born to be real, not perfect. You came into this free will zone to be a unique and powerful reflection of the authentic part of you, not to be a watered-down version of someone else's idea of you. When it comes to patterns you don't enjoy, change the changeable, accept the unchangeable, and be willing to remove yourself from the unacceptable. When we humans place an expectation upon ourselves or others to perform or behave in a perfect way, or the attempt is viewed as a failure, we can not only miss the learning moments, but we can encourage a pattern of never feeling good enough into our vibrational frequency fields. The idea of perfection is an illusion. It's a concept based on personal perspective, which is automatically filtered by the patterns of your own personal experience. And it is when we form a pattern of expecting perfection that we can begin to rob ourselves of the enjoyment of what is, because we are living in the illusion of what should be. And again, we would say, should be according to who? If you could make the claim, don't judge me, for you cannot know the all of me. Don't underestimate me before you have challenged me, and don't bother pointing out my flaws to me, for I have already named them and claimed them as a part of me in need of love, not criticism. Then we would be instantly free to be aligned with ourselves. Look around you, dear heart. Look around this world and see if you can find evidence of the patterns of Source's divine plan at play in the parts and areas of your life that you may simply take for granted. The idea of perfection is an unattainable condition, one we have learned to place upon ourselves and others, and the patterns of thought that accompany the expectations of perfection are directed by our ego self, not our spirit self. You can tell the difference by the way it feels. Your ego's expectations of perfection lead to feelings of judgment, failure, and inadequacy, whereas your spirit's expectation of progress over time leads to feelings of empowerment, connection, creativity, and enjoyment. One perspective is life-enhancing, the other is life-depleting. You choose which perspective you will view your life and progress from, as either way, you'll be guaranteed lots of lessons. To paraphrase Albert Einstein, we cannot solve our current problems from the same patterns of thought that created the problem in the first place. All patterns you become aware of outside of yourself are a reflection of the patterns of thoughts and beliefs that you allow to take hold inside first. By taking the time to become aware of your thought and belief patterns on a conscious level, you begin to take the first step towards releasing those patterns you determine are unwanted or unwelcome in your life right now, not in judgment, but awareness. For we promise you, those who seek perfection over progress deny themselves the true purpose of this earthly experience. You came here to be awesome, not perfect. Again, we would remind you, perfection is temporary. Only change is constant. There is a wonderful book called The 4 Agreements, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. We bring this to you because the teachings within the 4 Agreements is complementary to this teaching, as embracing these wisdom teachings can offer 4 simple approaches to working both the law of perfection and the law of patterns with greater authenticity and ease. To apply, all you have to do is make these 4 simple agreements with yourself moving forward. Agreement 1. Be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Use the power of your words in the direction of love and truth. And refrain from using your words to speak badly about yourself or to gossip about another. Agreement 2. Don't take anything personally. Realize nothing others do is because of you. What others choose to say or do is a reflection of their own internal reality. Agreement 3. Don't make assumptions. Give yourself permission to ask questions or share your truth for the purpose of greater clarity about your options and choices. And Agreement 4. Just do your best to be the very best version of yourself in any given moment, recognizing that some days your best will be better than other days. Not your most perfect self, just your best self. Since you're only in charge of you, These 4 new approaches may sound small, but we guarantee the shifts that are possible through the application of these 4 simple agreements with self break you free from the illusion of perfection and release you from old thought patterns that are no longer serving your personal growth or highest good. Try it for yourself and see what happens. For only you have access to your expectations, your ideals, desires, goals, and dreams. Only you have the power to release or redirect old thought patterns that you intuitively feel are limiting your spiritual growth or are consciously aware of impeding enjoyment in your now experience. So ask yourself, what would you do differently if you could decide that perfection in performance of self and others is not the point of your earthly experience? Start there and make some new choices, knowing that these universal laws will be set into place to fully support your journey every step of the way. For the patterns for natural growth have been woven into the very fabric of life itself. The universe has got you, friend. Lighten up on your expectations for perfection. You're already perfect. Now, where can you go be excellent? We thank you for taking the time to join us today for our examination of the universal laws of patterns and perfection. Join us next time when we will examine the universal law of process. Until then, on behalf of the Intergalactic Alliance of Light Beings, shine on, dear Earth Star Angels, in love and light. I am Chimera. Namaste. God's plan is always more beautiful than our desires. This message has been brought to you by whatcomesnextforyou.com. What's in your future?